Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So it's Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. I am Nigel, the Nomad. Oi. So, do you put kindness first? I try to. Everything else follows. When you do that, everything else follows. And it's from kindness. We have to be kind to ourselves. That's a given, I think. If you're kind to yourself, then you can truly feel like you're in balance. There's a certain balance in your life. Kindness to others. I go out of my way to try and be kind to those people that don't necessarily reciprocate. Why? Because I think, why? You won't get that. It's a joke. Why? Because there's this great comedian called Noel Rhodes who does a night called Unusual Tuesdays at Sunspace, and he plays a character called Austin Drizzles, who's a weather forecaster, and he exaggerates certain words and certain phrases that are comical to me. So that's why I said why in that way. Okay. Jennifer Schwab is in the house, and she said, hello, I hope you're doing well. Great message. Yeah, I do think that we've got to ignore the naysayers, those people who go out of their way to be the opposite of kind, not cruel in a necessarily physical sense, but in a sort of like a constant bringing down of your joy by, I feel joyful being kind to people. It gives me great pleasure. Well, is that my ego dealing with like, oh, if I'm kind, then I can get away with? No, it's not there's no reasoning that can assuage me from being kind. After all, it is humankind. I wrote a song many years ago called Can I Be Mankind? It's an actual question. We're being pushed more towards one society that has a overall emphasis on, well, why should I be kind to them? They're blah, blah, blah. And it's like, stop being judgmental. If you can try to be kind, everything else follows suit, you see. It's a bit of a hopeful statement for sure. I'm not getting a large amount of evidence that it works, but it works for me. And so I continue to do it, even though society is saying, well, you're going to be taken advantage of if you do that. Well, yeah, that's right. I'm going to be taken advantage of. Isn't that what we want? Don't we want a sense of purpose? And if your sense of purpose is being kind, then what follows is your service to others. And then if the others are going, well, you're a nut, but I'll take your kindness, it's like, that's fine. I'm giving it away freely. Kindness is a gift from me to you, and I want it to be reciprocal, but if it isn't, that's your problem, not mine. You see, kindness is absolutely at our core. We want to belong. We are a race of human beings, and for the most part, we're gregarious. Gregarious meaning we need each other and we run with the pack a lot. But the thing is, the pack has been diverted by some nasty people, and we recognize it. But do you use their tools in order to bring us back on track? No, because their cruelty is anathema. So we just don't use the same tools. Our tools are kindness and love, unconditional love. And we have to learn to use them properly. Okay, that's interacting with kindness. No matter if somebody's saying to you, "Oh, you're a da, da, da," it's like, it's okay. It's okay. I value your opinion, but I don't think it's correct. That's okay. That's free will. Okay, gets us into trouble sometimes, but we can always get out of trouble. This idea that it's all over. Oh, the game's over. That's it. No, we've got plenty of time. As long as there's one of us being kind, we're all right. But we've got to keep trying to push that envelope further and further out and be more and more kind. It makes you feel good. Yes, it does. It does. Many years ago, my wife said to me, I feel guilty about giving things to people. And I said, well, you should never feel guilty about giving. She gets tremendous pleasure from giving. And I think that's so honorable. I think that is so real. She gets tremendous and satisfaction and contentment from being kind by giving to people. But she's told, it's kind of weird. She's told to be guilty. She's taught, not told. She has been taught to feel guilty about giving. Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, I'm not going to criticize her. She struggles with it. And life is a struggle. It's not, it's certainly not just do what the fuck you want. I mean, that's the Crowleyite shortcutters. I don't like shortcutters. I like people who think about their actions, think about their reactions, think about their being, think about what they're doing, and still go back to being kind. Not go back, but resort to being humankind. So, Jennifer, are you still there? You got any questions? The wonderful Jennifer Schwab, 2123. At Jennifer Schwab. Yeah. Okay. I hope you don't mind me calling you out on social media, or where if YouTube continues to allow me to be Nigel the Nomad. They've been just restricting me a lot on social media platforms, and I kind of get it. I kind of understand why. I'm a threat to why. I understand why. Because I'm challenging the paradigm, the control system. I'm challenging that which I see prevalent in society, which is isolation. You know, if you have progressive thoughts and progressive ways of interacting with humans, and you do it in a loving, kind way, well, that doesn't really suit their money flow or greed flow. Not money, greed. We all have days where we don't feel like being kind, but we can forgive ourselves and try to do better. Of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's wisdom right there. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself and forgive others. I mean, I think that's one of the tenets that have mostly what I was raised within, and mostly what I've lived within, even though I've traveled to many countries that it isn't the predominant religion. It's a very Christian thing. One of the few things from Christianity, no, not few, many things I've got from Christianity is forgiveness. You know, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they're doing. You know, if Jesus was saying that to someone, then Jesus isn't God. You see, I mean, it's the way that they see misquotes. The Bible wasn't written by Jesus. Jesus wasn't a Christian. It's hard for many people, especially people who use the church as a crutch. I do believe there is, and it's not external, but I do believe there is a creationist way of being. I believe in creation. I believe in how we can be straight with ourselves, and we don't make believe. Phoniness is the worst part of spiritual life. People trying to be something they're not. You know, it's like I'm not choosing one religion over another. I'm picking from all religions the good bits. I mean, they're not rules and regulations. They're just telling me, like again, forgive yourself and forgive others. People make mistakes constantly. Of course they do. How can we be the all-knowing, all-being, all-everything when we're struggling to get by on a daily basis most of the time? But we forgive ourselves for our mistakes and we go out there in the world and we try and be kind. That's all. Okay. I grew up Christian, but I consider myself more spiritual than anything else. So yeah, again, it's being able to understand that some people need a community that has similar beliefs. So they gather in houses that have similar beliefs to celebrate their sameness with these other people. They usually do it for an hour on a Sunday, certainly in the Christian sense, but in the, you know, Judeo Christian religion, there are specific days, holy. It's really, I mean, if you study theology, you can understand a little bit more about why people do the things they do. Again, I've used that word again, haven't I? Why? I can remember when my children were very young, my two daughters who were grown up and out there in the world doing their thing. I still have obviously a duty towards helping them understand this world, and hopefully some of my thoughts might help them. There are no hard facts, like hard, like apart from birth and death. Everything else is what we make of it. And so I do feel like I have a eternal being within me, like something that's going to go on forever. And that's my feeling of spirituality, is to know my eternal self, because my human experience is always going to be slightly unclear. It's never going to be fully in focus. But I accept that. You know, it's a kindness that you have to have. And if you're kind first, if you put that first and foremost, I mean, I've learned this from so many people that are in so much pain, you'd think that they would want to push back, you know, in a revengeful way. I don't believe in vengeance. So it's a journey, and that journey allows you to start to think about, if I was constantly kind and I forgave myself for my mistakes and then forgave others, that would be a good place to start, you know. But kindness is definitely at the core of everything, because you bump into people all the time. I mean, we like to be in groups, in families, in communities, and we build our own families and our own communities, and we start to stretch out beyond those. I've traveled a lot and I've been all over different religions, different places, different ways of life. And if it wasn't for the kindness of strangers, and I say strangers, people I'd never met, if it wasn't for kindness of strangers, I don't think I'd have survived as a human being. I don't think, well, I wouldn't have survived this long. I mean, I do believe that I'm going to continue to live in a spiritual form. No idea what that is, but I came into this world with unconditional love, and I leave it with unconditional love. So everything I accumulate as a human experience should be won through kindness, because I've had nothing but kindness shown to me by many, many people all around the world. But we have to start ourselves too with being kind and being loving and being understanding. And don't be bullied by people who consider themselves to be authorities. They're not an authority. You've given them authorship. You see, you've given away your authority to somebody. Oh, yeah, well, I've got to follow this rule. I've got to follow that rule. No, the rule of thumb is your own personal law. And I think the law of kindness is something that ought to be, you know, pushed forward in our own personal belief system. If we're kind to others, then we're understanding. And then if we're understanding, we can look at it from their point of view rather than your own. Of course, we build our own point of view. That's our perception. And I think William Blake put it best, you know, you must cleanse the doors of perception. So you have to keep it clean, you know, do it clean. So yeah, kindness involves a lot of effort, but it's worthwhile. The rewards are great. They're the best. So be kind, be loving, live, love life. Thank you for your questions, Jennifer Schwab. I grew up Christian, but I consider more spiritual than anything else. Yeah. And thanks for your contribution. You really did like help me make this little piece of pontification. Thank you so much. As you got to experience that, we all need help occasionally from others to get through life. We do. I know I've needed kindness from others when I was going through a difficult time. Yes, we all need that kindness. And it's something that needs to be promoted more in society instead of disregarded. Oh, it's weak. Oh, you're just saying I love you. Well, I do. I love you. And I live love life that way. I'm happy I caught you live. I'm happy you came on here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for pushing the buttons that need to be pushed. And I don't know where you are in the world, Jennifer Schwab, but spread that kindness and then we'll feel it, because that's how society is built, from you out, not in, you know. I think so anyway. All right, live, love life. I gotta go now. Cup of coffee time. Second cup of coffee too, I'm afraid. got to wake up, got things to do, places to be. I live in the United States. I live in California. Sorry, you just answered a question, so I'm going to answer you. Yeah, I live in California. I live in the greater Los Angeles. I don't know why greater. It's just such a big, spread out city. I think it's 1,000 villages all pushed together, but it still is a major city. I live in Los Angeles, and I've lived here almost half my life, or half my human experience, whichever way you put it. And you live in Iowa, Jennifer Schwab. Oh, okay. My wife just came back from Iowa. She spent 8 days in Iowa with her 93-year-old mother and her sister-in-law. I've been to Iowa, only drove through parts of Iowa, but yeah, I mean, can't remember. Oh, Fonda, Davenport, Des Moines. These are all places that ring familiar to me because of my wife's mum. Was born and raised in Iowa, and so she's 93 now and went back to see other relatives. My wife went to see her cousins as well. But she did it really primarily to chaperone her 93-year-old mother, which she did out of kindness, because she's very kind. She's not really very well, I'm afraid, but my wife is still performing acts of kindness every day. And I have nothing but admiration for that. Okay. It is nice that my wife still has her mum. My mum died in my arms a couple of years ago. But it's the right linear thing, progression, you know. I mean, think of the poor orphans, think of the poor people who lose their parents so young. And then you've got to think, well, think of the poor mothers that lose their children. That's the wrong way round. Parents should your children should outlive their parents. And I've talked before on this subject, the subject of death, you know, the end of your human experience. It shouldn't be something that's feared. You know, I hope my children celebrate the fact that I lived a long and fruitful and happy life. And by example, and by being kind, I hope they appreciate that. I don't want anybody to mourn my death. I've had a great life. Yeah. So Julia, yeah, my wife still has a mum, and I encourage her to spend as much time with her mum as possible, because 93 is a fair old innings. May you and your wife be blessed always. I'm sorry to hear you lost your mum. My parents are still living. I'm glad your parents are still living. Reach out to them. I know there are things that they've done that may have hurt you, especially when you were a youth, but you still got to forgive them by forgiving yourself and then forgiving them. This is taking me a little bit into personal territory, which I love, but at the same time, I also have respect for the privacy of my wife and children. And even though society doesn't believe in any privacy anymore, it's all, everybody's got their own TV show. Yeah. Okay. And blessings to you, Jennifer Schwab. Yeah. Just tell your parents you love them every once in a while. Doesn't have to be all the time and craziness, but you should tell your parents you love them. I went through a period of not talking to my parents for, well, actually, they weren't happy with my choices, so they kind of cut me off. But at the same time, again, you know, through the kindness of somebody else, I built a bridge back to my parents. Yes, George Allen. Hello. Hi, George. Keep playing those pipes, my friend. It's so important to spread music and love. You don't have to do this. You choose to do it. Yeah, I choose to interact. You may choose not to. It's entirely up to you. Still love you. Doesn't matter. Just try and be kind. Don't be so critical of other people. Understand that you make mistakes, so they must make mistakes. So we forgive ourselves and we forgive others. Lots of love. All right. I now must go because it's way past. I normally try and keep it under 20 minutes, and I normally end up at 25. And here we are, 26. So thank you for all your wisdom and your questions, and I love you very much. Now, today, specifically today, make a real effort to be kind first. Always be kind first. Thank you. Close with my dad. He loves unconditionally. My mum doesn't like to be kind to me, so I only interact with her occasionally, sadly. Yeah, she's probably in pain, and so she probably needs a little more kindness. I don't know. Have a wonderful day. You too. Lots of love. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. How do I stop this? Oh, yes, there.